Hello and welcome back to Raised by Giants, where we talk all things spirituality. I'm Ryder Lee. Tonight we have returning guest Roxanne Swainhart. But before I introduce her, be sure to check out Honey Colony website for amazing products like Superior CBD, Colloidal Silver, Elixir and Maker, energy supplements, health and beauty products, and a bunch of other really great ethically sourced products. And if you use promo code RBG10, you'll get 10% off your entire order. Check the links in the description. Also, if you would like to make a donation to the channel, you can do that with a PayPal or a buy me a coffee account to help support the channel and my work. I appreciate your support always. No donation is too small. If you can donate, I'd very much appreciate it. It is 100% completely optional though. And thank you to everyone that's donated so far. Check the links in the description for donation options. So without further ado, introducing tonight's returning guest, Roxanne Swainhart. She has been an open channel for 9 years and her focus is self-discovery. Hello, Roxy. Good to see you again, my dear. Thanks so much for coming back on my show. I really appreciate it. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Ryder. Thanks again for inviting me back to your show. So yeah, here we are. What do you want to talk about?
Yeah, I am. I am excited to talk with you here again because I think you have the awareness to understand exactly what I want to talk about here tonight. And we got your background out of the way last time. And if people are interested in learning more about Roxy, check out a previous interview. So what I wanted to talk about is very difficult for people to understand, and I think it's easily misinterpreted, but I've come to some conclusions about the way that our reality works. And I think that we're in a really big conundrum here collectively. That is, that we have people that think our reality is complete and utter shit, right? They believe that everything is stacked against us and that we should hate it, right? And that we want change. But I don't think that they realize that the way that the reality is set up, and perceived bad things have to happen here on an individual and collective level in order to sustain a 3D physical reality. If it doesn't, then we kind of no longer exist in the reality as it currently is. I mean, we can forget the corruption, forget the banking systems, forget the staged events, and forget the psyops, right? And here's the conundrum. For real change to occur collectively and move forward, then we have to unify, right? And become one and dissolve the polarity that we've been engulfed into for centuries. And I have absolutely no idea what that looks like or what that would even be like, because the way that things are set up now is a polarity, and it's a give and take system. The dark needs the light and the light needs the dark in order to sustain itself on a fundamental level. Sorry, that was kind of a lot. What's your thoughts?
Well, there was a few things that let's start over again about something. Let's look at reality as not what it is as a constant, rather that it is created. So a third density reality, which there are infinite amount of incarnation within a third density, or a fourth dimension. Well, it's a third dimension, but we have the element of time. We're in a space-time continuum, so we have 4 dimensions to our reality, or to sum it up easier, it's just a third density, that kind of idea. They're interchangeable. So let's look at it as the uniqueness instead of the standard of all things, the uniqueness of human. Now let's all understand something. Everything that we've ever understood comes from human. Okay? We have all these things that are standardized by humans. And then we are an incarnation that doesn't know it's part of a collective. Not the collective of humanity, the collective of all that is. Singularities, individual creators. Let me make sure this is off. individual creators experiencing themselves for eternity. No one dies, we just change rooms. Same self, different chapter. Continue the story of I am. Creation needs to understand itself. It cannot go beyond itself unless it has a perspective of itself to go beyond. So it creates Ryder, Roxanne, funny little honey Tommy Jean, and whatever else out there is viewing this. You're a point of awareness. That in and of itself must validate something. You can chalk it up with your explanations to the polarized world of less than because you're a sinner, or that there's a God outside of you and a larger thing, and there's got to be a reason. Now that's all commonality, cause and effect of humanity's experience. But if you look at yourself, forget about everything just for a minute, just say to yourself, I am. And know that that itself is existence, and that existence must be looked at as a value. And that value could be even say you are blessed. Non-creation is full of non-creation. Creation is full of creation. It's full. There's no room for any more of non-existence. There's no room for any more existence. They're all full. Existence is, non-existence is not. You are on the existence side of things. You are having an experience. So that's the singularity. That's the big picture. So now let's focus down on humanity. We have chosen a master class, the mastery of ascension. Everyone is, through their absolute truth and their absolute right, says we're shit. We're a horrible species. We're bad. We got all this deception and this like that. Of course. Well, because that's the game. So let's look at the game in a different context. Let's say we want to come here and discover ourselves to know what it is to not be a god and return to being a god, a creator. There's no other way you can ever experience that. Creation doesn't stop knowing itself. Creation in and of itself is unconditional. If creation was conditioned, we would have already collapsed because we would have gone way to the edges of that conditioned box ruled by one and never gone beyond it. So since there's nobody in charge, since one God is all gods and all gods are one God, there's no going beyond the idea of what? One God? We have all gods. So we always go beyond all gods. I go beyond myself. You go beyond yourself. Therefore, there's no one in charge. Therefore, it's unconditional. So that unconditional reality is going to explore itself forever. And as we explore ourselves forever, we come across different ways to experience. I've experienced steaks. I experienced being a man, transgender being a woman. I've experienced Xbox. I've experienced computers. I've experienced wonderful sex and falling in love and divorces and bankruptcies. I've just experienced horrible times, tragic times, suffering times, blissful times, joyful times. I can't get that anywhere else unless I'm human. And the game of humanity is separation. Now, let's look at the species. Let's look at just humans, okay? So all these gods are incarnating as humans. The gods themselves are already ascended, indestructible, invincible, and forever. Their point of view comes down and creates a body. Here it is. This is my ride, my body. I pimp it as I choose. It's mine. I do what I will with it. Of course, there's laws that say you can't do this and can't do that. And that's the game of humanity. And it hurts and it suffers inside. That's the experience. Why would we do this to ourselves? Well, because we're masters. Some people says we're idiots. Some people says, why would we ever do that? Because we're good enough. We're good enough to take a species of incarnations, and through the commonality and the collective will of that species, we ascended. We are at the absolute pinnacle time of awakening. The species is awakening. It's getting to know it. We're working it out. We're working it out with the UFO context. We're working it out with all these new ideas on what the world is. Everyone's got an opinion and they're all speaking it. Good. Keep going. Keep investigating. But remember these ideas. We left ourselves breadcrumbs. The ones that hit me from reading from Seth, Edgar Casey, the raw material, Ramtha, and as well as, of course, Abraham Hicks, and a lot of the other channelers. Guys, we left ourselves clue. One of the big clues is the Bible. The Bible is chock full of information. They use it as a wielding idea of fear. I get that, because it was edited by who? Humans. Humans wrote those books. Inspired by God is the word good. You can do whatever you want, and I encourage you to believe, but I also encourage you to know that the kingdom of heaven lies within. The truth lies in the eye of the beholder, and thou shalt have no gods before me. So I'm not going to be at the expense of others, selfish. I'm going to take care of me and discover me. I'm going to make sure I know me on this planet. I knew the image of me. I knew the personality. I knew everything I was supposed to do, and I tried my best to do. Get people to love me, get people to like me, make myself accountable, make myself responsible, make myself acceptable by others, because the value of my worth without these dependencies holding me up is the value of a human, because the standard says this. I have good credit, I have an account, I have a job, I have a wife or a husband and 2.5 kids. I have all these things, but I'm not in love with me. I don't know who the fuck I am. I knew who I'm supposed to be. I knew who I should be. But I'm not a terrible person. I don't need to be taught lessons. I need to understand myself. We make laws willingly and quickly to suppress and suppress and suppress, because we're all trying to make each other happy. Stop it. Make yourself happy. That's enlightenment. Enlightenment is representation. Representation is what shows other people through behavioral representation what you are. You look at the past presidents, they represent who they are. Then we have a choice whether we want to be that way or not. We have to look at ourselves and say, is that my truth? Is this my truth? Do I want to be that understanding? Does my mind tell me that, or does my heart tell me that? Does my emotions say this is right, or does my heart say it's right? We have to discern our own ideas. We have to recognize our identities. My religion was taught. Religions have come and gone. There's this outstanding video, History of the World, somewhere on YouTube. And it talks about the thousands of religions, way before the Christ, way before Horus and the same Christ story, if you've ever read that. All the countries that have come and collapsed, all the empires going up and down and going away, because it's just the energy. As soon as the collective of humanity had something else to focus on, Ukraine war, COVID, gone. Energy follows awareness. Whatever we're mad at or entertaining, we create. So we are the creators of our reality with our attention, what we value. But you also have an observer inside, and you can see the polarity that the world fights itself on. Everyone has an opinion. No one knows the truth. No one knows the truth about what anything is, and I sure as hell don't know the truth. I know my truth, though. I'll never waver from that truth, because it sits in with me without negotiation or debate. I can't be wavered off the knowing I've discovered of the internal. I'm not a piece of shit. I'm not a mistake. I'm a creator. I'm a God. And so is everybody else. So this world of polarity that we live in, as absolute atrocious it is, and all the things we've done to each other, is just the mastery of ascending a species out of complete separation. There was many, many times that we've been as a unity and collective, and then we split apart, and we moved back together, and we split apart. This is our way of working it out. We're coming more mature. If you ever watch videos of Japan, the people in Japan are a collective. They don't have egos. They don't make fun of each other. They're representing. I watched a video the other day where this truck spilled all of its stuff. Strangers out of there came in the middle of the rain to start cleaning up, and they swept it up. And within about 7 minutes, about 50 people just came out, stopped their cars and cleaned up and went on with life. because they're not inconvenienced about life. They're embracing life as a unity. Now that's not going to be forced, and we don't need to start preaching that. What we need to do is look inside as a collective to understand ourselves. The government takes care of its people. The people are inspired to be themselves, not to be the democracy of, I need to be this person so I can be a good person and people will like me. And I have to believe in something, and I have to fight for something, and I have to stand for something. No, I don't. I don't fight for transgender rights. I don't fight for political ideas. I don't give a flying fuck about those things. I'm here to discover Roxanne. I'm a being. I have my own thoughts, my own intelligence, and I'm going to explore those things. So polarity to me is the game that we discovered, the separation. I have a subjective point of view, which is constant. When people say, well, objectively speaking, this is what I see. Well, wait a minute. You can't objectively see anything. Everything is the truth lies in the eye of the beholder. My trash is your treasure. Your treasure is my trash. Why do you need to know what my trash is and make it a treasure? Why do I need to take your trash and make it into a treasure? I don't. Because we're always trying to get dependency off each other and approval. Because no one ever told me that I'm enough. No one ever told me that I'm as is perfect. They told me I'm less than. And they sold me these stories of pain and suffering and sorrow and absolute. And I didn't know how to love me, let alone people. So I tried my best to love, to do the right thing. And I hated myself because I was never me. I was always effort. Oh, I got the compliments and I got the attaboys and I got money and jobs and all that success. But I was fucking miserable because I'm never I am. I'm always the image of me, holding up my dependencies, holding up my work, my ideas of those images so I can be accepted because no one said you're enough, Roxanne. You can love you as is and discover yourself. Well, that's no one's fault. Nobody's fault. I got it from Bashar. Daryl Anka channeling the entity Bashar from the Essassani civilization. I got them. And they said, enlighten yourself. And then I start channeling and I got Osifius. Osifius said, Roxanne, to me, goes, Roxanne, the highest act of love is to love yourself. Because when you love one, you love all. But you're not at the expense of others. Loving me doesn't mean fucking my own human over. But it doesn't let them take advantage of me either. I create my reality with my choices. My choices are my truth. When I'm confronted with the belief system of dependency that's polarized, that objectifies my reality as an identity, then I have a choice to make. I can create that image one more time and keep myself in the polarized lack of myself, or I can choose the unknown truth and be scared shitless about taking away the dependency and be naked and afraid in the moment to realize I'm worth my own self. And I've spent 9 years doing that. And I'm fucking good at it now. I'm a master at myself. I'm not done, but I know I am. And so that vibration offers that this is a possibility. It's not the right way. Humanity is always looking for the right way. No, that's the right way. No, you need to do this. No, fuck you. Fuck, no, fuck. That's all we do. We argue who's the right. You're right. And you're not right. Stop with the rights and the wrongs. Just be yourself, your truth. And the people that are toxic and that are putting you down, fuck them. Shut the door, hang up the phone, get them out of your life because you don't need them because you are I am. And it's a scary thing to be alone. Until you fall in love with yourself, you don't have anything to grab onto.
I think that's a problem that people don't want to be alone, you know?
Well, I get that, but that's not a problem. That's their issue. You got to do you. You want to be a collective? You have to do you. Collect yourself into I am, and that'll only represent the possibilities of a collective. We can't force a collective. What do we need? Another 10 or 15 fucking laws to say you have to act this way? Look at what we've done. We've made ourselves so tight and so fucking mad at each other that we only have a different way. This is perfect because we're crushing ourselves to realize, well, we got to stop. There's a different way, and we're doing that. People are representing, well, I'm worth me. They're speaking up. They're no longer being downtrodden by the idea, but it starts with one and it starts with you. It starts with every person to look at themselves and evaluate themselves and enlighten themselves and allow law of attraction to come in and give you the intelligence of the moment. You don't need to read it in a book. You can get guided through the ideas of representation, people and things, but when it comes down to it, you make the choice. And you don't have that responsibility because you can't fail this game, because there's no outcome of this game. There's no, like humans need, what's the outcome? What's the purpose? What's this? Nothing except one thing: experience of I am, the absolute mastery of discovering you are a creator, you are a God, and you are eternal being. That's consciousness. That's what we are.
That's so interesting. Everything that you've said so far, Roxy, I've been trying to explain to people, and I actually created a video about the purpose of reality, and I never posted it because I was afraid that people were going to take it the wrong way. And it's exactly what you just said right there. It's,
but you got to stop being afraid. Ryder, stop it. You're enough. You're afraid of people. That means you're depending on approval. When the fuck are you going to be yourself? I teach this. I rip people apart. I tear their assholes out to say, you're creating your reality. You had a video that offered a truth and you said no to it. Why? Because I'm afraid. Good. I want you to look at that fear and say, am I worth my truth, or am I worth the conformity to humanity so everyone likes me? That's the nasty of this. That's what it takes to evolve a species. Absolute brutal honesty with the self and forging yourself in the fire of ascension so you never look back and you fuck everyone that's going to breathe the idea of your demise. That's a mastery, and it takes courage and it takes will. You think we would have figured it out by now? 8.9 billion years of humanity. All these timelines scattered around the multiverse. You think someone would have figured it out by now? No, no one's figured it out because we had nothing there. There's no clues. We created clues. We created ourselves through evolution. And we're at this point of awakening. So don't be afraid. Don't be afraid, God damn it. You're not an accident. You're not less than. You're a fucking I am. And when you start to love that and feel that, you are encouraged to be yourself. And believe me, I've lost friends. I've lost best friends. I've had people in and out of my lives. But I can't stop my own evolution. I can't stop my exploration. And then I'm not being honest with myself. I might as well bitch slap myself and say, you're a fucking coward. I'm not a coward. I'm going to finish this idea to the best I can. And the outcome is just my own forging mastery of my eternal self being I am. It's just a continuation of me. Make sense?
Absolutely. And I still have the video up there. I can still post it. I think I was just kind of waiting for the right time there, but you brought up—
the right time is when you choose.
Absolutely. And you brought up something really, really interesting in there, that this is all about the experience, right?
For me, 100%. It's not a purpose.
Yeah. We're here to experience ourselves. And there are certain criterias and circumstances that technically have to happen here in order to sustain the reality. And
no, not have to happen because no one's in charge. Is happening because people find that truth. Why do religions continue? Because the parents teach the kids, because it's represented. And as religions fall away, we'll come up with something else. Just like what was represented before. What has to be sustained? Polarity? Polarity is common. Polarity is I'm not a God, and everyone else out there is an object that I define. I don't know I'm a creator creating my reality through the reflection of life, and so I objectify everything as not me. When you're whole, everything is a reflection of the one and all, and that's an experience of the creator. But we don't look at it polarized. We look at it unconditionally. We look at it as the truth of ourselves. But your truth lies in the blueprints of your moms, your dads, your schools, your teachers, the fears that were taught to you by the representation of humanity. It doesn't need to be sustained. No one can flip the switch because there's nobody in charge of this fucking place. You can't tell me There's someone watching. No one's watching. I can't have that truth anymore. The truth is I am, and this is it. This is what I am, this eternal experience. Every single person is in their own little bubble. Every single person is in their own little bubble in the now.
Well, it's not necessarily that I believe that someone's in charge. I just think that the way that the reality is set up in general, how it's programmed.
By who?
Is that if you're here if you can experience extreme love here, then you also must be able to experience extreme
Not
pain.
Must, can. I don't think all the Kardashians are suffering as much as the people in different countries.
No, but
They
they'd be
spend a lifetime.
suffering in their own way, though.
Of course, that's their suffering, though. There's no standard suffering. There's no standard bottom and standard top except the one that you create. Have you ever been next to a person that has a conniption about something and you look at it and go, it's not that bad? How is that possible? Because everyone's own polarity scale is within the measure of their own scope. It's not a standard. There's no set up rules. The only thing that's in play is when you incarnate, you separate. You don't know you're a creator. The memory is gone that you are a creator, or the remembrance that you are a creator, your natural self, your wholeness, your being, your collective oversoul or whole self, or whatever people named it 1,000. It's me. I'm only in this point of view. Look, here's the God, here's the incarnation. Here's another one of me. And I'm in this one looking into this world. I'm this one looking into this world. This one's an Arcturian, it's having an Arcturian experience. This one is human, it's having a human experience. And I can focus my energy and create because I'm a creator. And I create the experience with co-creators. So we create dimensions and densities and planets and light and darkness and happiness and sadness and relationship to reality. Our relationship is separation. Through that, we covet. We covet what my parents believe. Only reason why I was religious is my parent told me I was supposed to be religious. The only reason I thought this is because I coveted that. The only reason I thought it was a piece of shit because my parents told me you're a piece of shit. That you're not good enough. That you shouldn't do these things. That's wrong. You're embarrassing me. So guess what I did? I'm a piece of shit to myself. And then I worked my way out of it. Because I'm a goddamn master. Because I have the humility and the courage to see those are my beliefs. And it's not my parents' fault. Because they got it from the generation. Their parents or whatever they are. I'm not going to fault anyone. I'm going to get busy with me. I'm not going to fix the objects because the objects aren't broken. My interpretation of the objects are broken. My interpretation of that was the cause of my pain. That is my problem. I need to have you suffer because you hurt me. No, you didn't. I interpreted you. That's my belief. That's my relationship. I need to get busy in the house and clean up my goddamn kingdom. Make sense?
And that's circumstantial, right? That's what we're kind of given whenever we come into this reality. We're
choosing
given
incarnation. Do you think we really give a shit? Everything is experience. Bashar said there might be a template that you might use. People are going, oh no, you set everything up. No, bullshit. It's free will. When you get here, you don't know what the hell is going to happen. You can set up, okay, maybe I want to experience poverty. Maybe I want to experience being rich, or maybe I want to experience being a musician. And we don't work in lifetimes. We work as evolutionary dynasties. I've been working on speaking way before I got here. I've been working on ascension in other planets and other places and probably humanity 1,000 fucking times. I don't remember that, but I'm good at what I do. I didn't get that this lifetime. If I'm forever, why do I have to do everything in one lifetime? Because we're such a rush to win the race, to be the best, to have success, to get an attaboy from no one's there. Fall in love with yourselves. Get busy falling in love with the kingdom of I am. And that's where it is. So I work in generations, not in the idea of lifetimes. You know? And the
I think that
circumstances,
people,
whatever it is.
Yeah, people think that they have to get everything done in this lifetime and rush around and everything because they
Yes.
probably assume that this is the only lifetime that they're going to have to do it. Whenever that's the absolute
Well,
opposite.
that's part of it, and that's truth, and let them have it. You represent different. When that person's ready for change, they'll vibrate into your reality, and you represent that change, and then it becomes up to them. That's how it works. There's no forcing. There's nothing like that. There's only representation. When people vibrate into my life, I work with that people in my life. If it's something in the idea of offering something so they can see a point of view, here you go. They don't understand it. I can't help that. I give them what I am, and then they go from there. What's going to happen to them? Oh, I don't know. Maybe forever. That's all that's going to happen to them. I can't control other people's realities. Let's take a look at that real quick. So me and you go down here in Texas, and we'll go up to a cattle farm, and we'll watch the cows get slaughtered together. Okay, and it's atrocious for people. I get that, but I don't know what the cow's going through. Now I can interpret the cow suffering. I can see the cow being cut and bleed. I can see that. Okay, I got it. And the chickens with their heads getting cut off, and all the plants out there that are being eaten, I can hear them scream as you're grinding them in your mouth. Because plants life too. But we don't care about that because we can't relate to it, the idea as a pain. We eat those plants, but they're alive, just as alive as the cow is. So we see that as an object, and we see pain in that. So we look at the cow as suffering. Who's interpreting that world? How the fuck do I know what the cow is doing? Because the cow's screaming and hollering? Yeah. So I'm going to interpret that as the cow is suffering. And then I just created my reality, didn't I? I created my world. I see the cow that suffers, then that's my truth, and that's my world. So I get to suffer the idea of the cow suffering. I'll change it. I'll scream enough, I'll holler enough, and I'll just keep myself separated from the collective and understand that you guys are wrong for eating meat. Okay, you should eat plants. Okay, plants don't hurt. Yeah, really? They're not getting ground up in your teeth? Okay. But see, all of that is something I can preach about. Why would I be a preacher? I'm not a dick. We've had enough fucking preachers on this planet. Now we need enlightenment. Enlightenment is representation. Take your truth and live your life. Find yourself and do yourself the honor of self-discovery and rip yourself from limb to limb, tear everything about all these blueprints of these foundational kingdom that you bent will crumble when the emergence of the persona starts to birth as you choose yourself through your own evolution. And it doesn't happen overnight, and there's no quick fix, and it's no pill that says, poof, you're God. It's work. It's work of self-discovery.
So one of my favorite things to hear in the spiritual community, and something that you just kind of brought up, was that you kind of touched on it, was that I choose to be here. And I kind of laugh whenever people say I choose to be here, because, okay, let's just assume that they are correct in saying that they chose to be here. But the real question is when did they choose to be here, right? When did they originally decide to come into this 3D physical reality? Was it 3 lifetimes ago, 100 lifetimes ago, 500 lifetimes ago? Or are they talking about this current incarnation? Because I can say with confidence that everybody here on this planet right now, currently, this isn't their first rodeo. This isn't their first incarnation.
No,
So
I don't think so. But then again, I'm not going to debate that. See, the thing is if they want to say this is my first incarnation on Earth, okay, have that. Everyone is their own truth. That's why you have to be brutally honest with yourself. I don't need to have, I'm on my 50th or my first time. I'm a star seed or rainbow moccasin sunchild, and I'm here to save the human collective. I don't need those identities. I don't care. See, the thing is the law too is everything is here and now. Now, how do we have time, Ryder? How do we have time? How do we have tomorrow and yesterday?
I would say it's based on the human perception of being in this 3D reality that time exists.
Memory. You think a fish that has a 7-second memory knows about tomorrow? Memory. That's how we have time. Tomorrow, you've never seen, and you've never been to yesterday. You've always been experiencing the now. And in the now, you label yesterday, time, and tomorrow, time. So we take time as a relative relationship to memory and create an experience of the future and the past. But it's all happening when? Now. What I wanted to say before we got cut off is my Odyssey of Ascension, the work I do, is only one way to the top of the mountain. There are other ways. Abraham said it 30 years ago. There's so many ways, there's so many paths to the top of the mountain. Nobody is right. Nobody is wrong. Everyone is their own path. Take it. So all I'm doing is offering what I have. If you don't like it, turn the fucking channel. If you want to bitch about it, then bitch about it. Have a good time. But I'm never going to be the idea of less than because someone doesn't like me or want me to be what I am, because they're getting rubbed the wrong way. The work we do does rub people wrong. Why? Because it's not conformity. It's unconditional. It's absolute exuberance of the will to be birthed. It's the worth of the singularity to be I am. And people don't like that because it doesn't understand. They can't equate it. They haven't related. They don't know how to pigeonhole or peg it. So we do the work on that. So as far as the incarnations and they chose to come here, it's just a relationship of the now. Whether they did it 500 years ago or not, I don't care. See, all these statistics and details have appetical ideas of emotional content. And if I can feel that emotional content present in that relationship with that object, that reality, then I'm not going to go in that room because it lies in the idea of dependency, of emotional status. And I have to label it through an emotional relationship, good, bad, and everything in between. There's a state of being that's beyond polarity. Duality is not the standard. The 5 laws that I know are: 1, you exist. 2, everything is here now. 3, what you put out is what you get back. That's not karma. Don't go there. It's not karma. It's vibration. The truth of you is what you receive, not in the experience of labeling, vibrationally. Got to pay attention. 4 is one or all and all are one, and 5 is change is the only constant except for the first 4 laws. If you ever look at those laws, you're going to find there's no conditions in them. There's no rules against the human in those laws. They're just telling you how we create. We're always in the now. We always exist. We're always expressing and receiving our attracted truth. And we're always the one and all are all the same idea from an infinite number of perspectives. And these laws will stay except for change. Change is a law except for the first 4. They don't change. But the law of change is in there. How boring it is. People are trying to make everything perfect, but we have 1,000 different perfects from 1,000 different people. How the hell are we going to appease everyone? You don't appease the outside because the standards are within the kingdom. Think about the embracement of that. I know that we have bad people. I get that. And people want to fix those bad people. I get that. But we have separation. We have to represent the collective of the worth of each self. Everyone fundamentally knows the difference between right and wrong. We don't do bad things. We create bad experiences because that's the only thing that the person knows at the time when they're absolute separated. I can take one person and create them in a lifetime and take that same identity, that same singularity, and create them in another lifetime. And one's going to be a saint and one's going to be a mass murderer. How is that possible? Because of the frequency they encompass as the experience of that self.
See, here's the problem that I have with ascension, Roxanne, is that if you're talking about ascension, then you would need something to ascend over. You'd have to, that would imply that there's something not right about the reality that you need to get over.
No, it's not right. Not right is the way you're seeing it, which is you're right. Ascension is self-discovery. It's to remember that you're a creator. That's all it is. It's not something to get over. It's just another idea of evolution. The ascension of species is happening all the time. Here's how this is from Bashar. Here we are over here. That's human. Over here in fourth density, is Essassani. Up here in fifth density at the top of the triangle, this is how the parameters of the densities are set up apparently. As soon as we ascend, these species, the Essassani, go to the fifth dimension, and the Syrians go to the sixth dimension. But not the singularity. The singularity doesn't have to stay in there. They have choices. You can go anywhere you want. No one's in charge. You're just interested in ascending a species. There's an available incarnation. You pop in. Maybe this is the first time. It might be your first time, and maybe you'll spend 15,000 lifetimes ascending. If you're forever, what's the rush? To get to know yourself. So ascension for me is not a goal or an outcome. It's a self-discovery. The species is going to go to fourth density. They're going to be called Homo galacticus, is the word around the grapevine. When they make of themselves a part of creation as a collective, remembered. Galacticus. They're part of the galaxy. You know, right now it's the only planet in our galaxy that's separated. We're the what do you call that? The reality show of all the entities other species love to watch. Because it's amazing. They're amazed at us. And we're actually separated, that we're actually working out. People think, oh, all the aliens hate us. They don't hate us. They don't think we're shit. They don't see polarized. We see polarized. We're the duality. Everything we start and stop with starts and stops in humanity. So when you say, there's something wrong with that idea in order to ascend, where does that come from? That comes from the human. Everything is within the human bubble. Every interpretation is the experience. That's why you have to look inside and find the intelligence that lies within. The intelligence is an education. That's smart and that's knowledge. That's not wrong. That's great. Education, diplomas, degrees, the work, the scientists, the psychologists, psychiatrists, and mechanics and engineers, and all these wonderful Elon Musks and creators of things. Go, have your fun. Go, good, go. What about me? I can't do them. I got to do me. So I got to discover within myself. I'm not going to take a belief system and say, this is the truth, and you need to listen to it, and I'm going to have a problem with it if you don't. Good. Guess what you're doing? You're having a problem with yourself, creating your own reality. You're not here to win conversations, are you? You're not here to win arguments. Is that what we're doing? Is that how mature the species is? To make sure that everyone else is wrong and we're right? I mean, when do we get off the playground? When do we mature enough to be humble enough, surrender to see ourselves? And we create those experiences with our truth. And the truth that we coveted is a belief system found, created, and sustained in human experiences.
Yeah, see, I think we're very special here in this reality, Roxy,
I think we're badasses.
Because of the
absolute badasses.
Because of the circumstances we're given in this reality. And there's people, like I said in the beginning of the conversation, that seem to think that this reality is horrible and bad and everything is stacked against us, which some things are, right? But that's just the way that the reality is.
But those people are still alive and they're still doing the thing, and they're going to live their life and then they're going to die. That's what they're going to do. They're always just going to keep going until they take the exit plan and they go on to their next adventure.
Yeah, and the problem is people, they aren't seeing this reality as an opportunity for experience, like what we've been talking about, because we're in it, right? And it's hard to see things that are right in front of our face, right?
Very difficult.
And you know, people, they want this peace and love,
but they don't represent that.
Absolutely,
and they force it.
Yeah.
And that's why enlighteners have to awaken, and we are awakening. Look, we just started. We're not going to get it done in this lifetime. The best estimate for the human species to ascend is 2,000 plus years, which is actually really fucking close if you think about the time that it is. As soon as the aliens come, the first species, I don't know, the second species is the Yahyel. That's the hybrid. They're coming somewhere around 2038. You're going to be alive for it. It's going to happen because it's time.
That's the thing, though. They've already been here. They've been here for
But they haven't
freaking
been
ever.
here to where it's undeniable. We know they've been here, but it's not in the idea. The Phoenix Lights was the last big connection from that civilization. The last big one, 1997 Phoenix Lights. It's going to happen. They're going to keep chalking it up, and then people are going, stop it. Stop with your lies. It's an awful waste of fucking space if we're the only ones home. Science has already proven it's mathematically impossible not to be other species. Oh, but we're gods and we're God's children, so God will... We're fucking sinners. We're big pieces of shit that only hate each other. We try to love each other through identity so we can get our own worth through acceptance. Because we're not worth ourselves. But that's why it's a master class, guys. This isn't wrong. This is awareness. This is recognition. This is now you're getting the intelligence of creation, and you can change it by living your truth, by being yourself, by saying, oh, I can't do this because this might lead to this. Fuck what it leads to. Find out. Have the courage enough to create your own reality with your own truth. Disappoint people. Let them tear you up. Make them mad at you. It's going to hurt. It's going to rip you apart. But you got to find it if you want to understand what ascension is. And this message isn't for the mass collective. It's not going to reach all these people. It's only going to reach a few. And a few are going to see that, and a couple of them are going to change themselves and start to enlighten themselves. Not my way, their way. And then the next and the next, and the representation keeps occurring. It keeps occurring to where the collective realizes, wow, we're not these people anymore. I get it now. I'm starting to see it now. That we don't need to divide each other by classes or race. We're trying to fix race and identities all over the place. We're making laws galore. Hey, man, that's the human thing. Good. Go make all your laws, enforce them. Do whatever the hell you do. It's not my business. My business is representation of the worth of my own existence. And that is vibration, which pierces any idea of pictures or postulates and formulas and provation of scientific facts. Vibration is that. Go back to Tesla. Vibration, frequency, tone. You want to understand creation, you got to start thinking in those terms, not in the idea of the reflection of what's now and then interpret it through your memory and label it something as good or bad. That's children. Science is the idea of going beyond the idea of what is standardized by the reflection in the vibration of it. Quantum physics has already blown away everything, but no one wants to pay attention to it. Why? Because it doesn't work for them. It's not their truth. You can't take it. You can't get the picture. You only get the representation. When the aliens come, you know what they're going to say? I'll tell you, oh, that's a Hollywood stunt. It's not true. Or we need to get guns and they're going to take us over and make us their slaves. They're going to do whatever the fuck they're going to do. Or they're going to embrace him. But that's not my job. If I job and I'm trying to control, I'm a fucking dick. Why do I need to control? We have enough tyrants in the fucking world. Represent. Represent yourself and explore that kingdom and be that. So those people that don't see it, Ryder, are not your responsibility. Your passion is this interview. This interview reaches one, it reaches a million. Vibrationally. It cuts through the undertones of polarities because it's bringing up the vibrational worth, but it's not tangible to the human, so we don't think it's worth anything. We got to have something tangible and provable and can stick it on a shelf and it can be for sale. That's not it. It's what you represent, your worth. That's what changes people. The worth of your vibration saying, I am. Not I am this and I am that, and here's my resume, please love me.
Yeah, I agree. And we put all these limitations on ourselves willingly too, you know?
We do.
Like, and
habitually, yeah.
And that's also a thing that kind of bothers me with the love and light people, because they don't realize that the love and light is a limitation as well. If all that you were to experience is love and light, then you are limited, right? And
it is said that unconditional love is actually just a state of being. Everything in it is love, but not the emotional love. like you said, love and light is a limitation. Because it's a forced idea of you have to love this way. I'm not going to love that way. I'm not going to love anyway. I'm in love because I'm in an unconditional state of being. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, and Max Spears once said that the demonic realms experience nothing but ecstasy 24/7, and that has driven them insane, and that's why they're fighting to get out. Now I don't know if that's true or not, but it's
See, the thing
interesting.
is,
It's
if
it's
there is a demonic realm, which
I'm
I
just
don't know if
using
there
that
is.
as an example.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But I don't know about but if that's true, then and the demonic realms exist in ecstasy, then where would the angels reside, right? Well, what's the opposite of ecstasy? It's misery, right? So if the demonic exists in ecstasy, then the angels would reside in misery. See,
And where does all that come from?
it's
Where
been
do angels
fucking
and demonics come
inverted.
from? Humans.
Yeah.
I've never been to an angelic realm. I've channeled through the angelic realm. I felt the angelic realm. But the demon idea came out of the idea of the horned god when old Constantine took his pagan mom and said, no, you're not powerful enough. I'm going to take this JC and his boys and I'm going to make it. So he turned the stag beast into a horned god, into a what? Fuck, I wish people would just do some goddamn fucking research. They stole Christmas. They made the devil. Hell has already been said. It was made up. All of this stuff is crumbling. So the demonic realm is an interpretation of a human. That's not wrong. God's sake, it's not wrong. It's the experience of that. And then when that gets put out there, it's your choice whether you want to have an experience with that. Do you see now how much you create your reality? So
Oh
I'm
yeah,
not gonna say yes or
absolutely.
no.
But there definitely is lower density realms, right?
Only if you say. Have you
Well,
ever been there?
if there's higher density realms, then there has to be lower
There
density
isn't
realms.
higher
That's
density
just my
realm. There's just
logical.
different frequencies.
Well, then there would be lower frequency
So,
realms.
okay, if there's lower frequencies, then why are they bad?
I'm not saying that they're bad. I'm just saying
Exactly.
that they would have to exist in order for a higher
Anything can
frequency
exist, but
realm.
never
A
have
lower
to.
frequency realm would have to
But
exist.
see, that's my point. You're creating a truth as a has to. Guess what you're doing? You're creating your reality. That's not the standard, though. It's what you choose to create.
Well, it's a logical and
Of course,
thought.
logic based on what you've learned. Perfect, which is human. Get brutally honest with yourself. I've never been to a lower or a higher frequency. I'm not going to label them higher or lower. Maybe humanity did to understand evolution. Perfect. I don't care. I'm not going to put that as scripture or law. If there's a lower density when I get there, okay. And what it is going to be less than life of the human? Are we more mature because we're aware? How do you know that the molecules inside this pen aren't having a fucking ecstasy time? I don't know what they're experiencing. All I know is what I want to label that. And that's my truth, and that's my reality, and that's how I create my experience. Everything ever shall be subjective. There's no standards. Because if there was, we would have already collapsed.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm not talking about like facts here. Like
Can't be facts.
I'm just talking about expanding your thoughts and
Yeah, I love it.
And
And Bashar said there's a fourth density and a fifth and a sixth and a seventh. Great. But that doesn't mean the lower or less than, because that's the only way the human can compare it as a standardization of more. Because we work in a world of duality and polarity, down and up. So that's less, this is more. That's one way to look at it, but that's not my way. That's anyone who wants to look at it, that's their way, that's their experience, and that's for the singularity. That's how you experience your human incarnation.
Yeah, just because that there are lower realms doesn't mean that they're necessarily bad. You're right in saying that that's just our perception of reality.
You got to see that. Bad is a point of view. Bad is a what? Someone's trash could be another man's treasure.
Well, it's a label too, and it's a
Yes.
label and it's put into a category.
Yes, because it's duality and polarity, and that's what humans do. It's a human story, isn't it?
Absolutely. And
It's
I don't know.
fantastic.
I just really feel like that the love and light stuff is one of the biggest cons ever, right? Because
It's another way to represent. Those intentions behind them are, there might be malicious ones, and those ideas, if they're being selfish and they're using people for that, perfect. But what am I going to do? I'm going to bitch at them, or I'm going to divide against them. I'm just going to vibrate that frequency, and I'm going to say, you're wrong. You shouldn't do that. So now I'm putting out the frequency of laugh because I'm judging another. I'm accepting them, and you go do your. I'm just not going to pay attention to it. Because the love and light community that speaks, this is the way, and you have to do this in order to do that, is just another condition. I'm not going to put out a condition, and I'm not going to get mad at people for putting out conditions. No one say nothing will get done, though. But we're light beings, and we work in frequencies, vibration. This right here is a result. Everyone knows this is interpreted through your own mind. We've already proven that this whole fucking, me and you were talking about light before, the frequencies of light. We see 1% of our reality, you know, and it's all coming through these light inputs. A blind person never sees a physical reality, but they experience physical reality through gravity and sound and touch. They have it
pain
completely
and
different
suffering
experience.
and all that. Yeah.
Whatever it is, it's a master class, and that is so hard to fathom, because it's atrocious that we would do this to ourselves, to allow this suffering and this pain and rape and mass murder, and then have people do great things and fall in love, and do these wonderful ideas of happiness, and then all to be crumbled the next day and then built back up, and we go and cycle and we do that. It's insane to do that. Yeah, it is, but we're masters. Every single one of us. We're all good at this. We showed up to suspend a species. And it started so long ago. And now we've done enough work to find each other, our worth of ourselves through the reflection. People are changing. I mean, look what COVID did. I mean, people didn't go back to work because they're like, I think I'm worth a little bit more. I think I can work from home now. You know, the United States was the immature people says, oh, working from home, you're just going to fuck off and be in your pajamas all day. Well, we disproved that. People want to work. People want to be worth something. They have purpose. Let them have it. Let's represent the change of a collective. That we don't have to be stuck in traffic and drive cars and live in little cubicles. That we can work, and we're mature enough to represent the economy as the movement of humanity moves forward. And then when we evolve past economy and evolve past money and all those things, it'll be whatever the hell it's going to be. But I can't fix the future. I can't control it. I can choose myself, my world, my reality, because I'm an enlightener of my kingdom. I light up my truth and find out what belongs, tear this shit down, and establish my I am as a constant representation of behavior. You always know what you're going to get when you meet me. I'm never, ever, 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 ever going to put any kind of shroud on that. That kind of freedom is priceless. To be yourself, unapologetic for yourself, never wavering from your truth, never trying to conform or fit in. And that offends people and it hurts people, but also encourages people to leave their idea of their household or their jobs they're in, to go out and flourish and find themselves and not be afraid of failure and be satisfied with that, because some God's going to say, you're a good person, come on in.
Open up the pearly gates. I'm only doing it because I want to get to heaven.
That's it. But that's their story. Let them have it. I represent my story. The people that like it, choose what they get out of it and move into themselves. People that don't. What am I going to do? Fix everyone? We've been trying that. We've been trying to fix each other for eons, millenniums. We're not broken. We just have to realize we're our own truth. Make sense?
Absolutely. And I think that's a really great place to end it. I thank you and I appreciate you a lot, Roxy. Where can people find you if they would like to see some more of your work?
YouTube is Odyssey of Ascension. I haven't posted much lately. I'm going through. I'm writing. I'm writing a curriculum for a school, and it is amazing being as uneducated I am as far as the school world, because I didn't go to college. I didn't do those things. It was to write a curriculum, but now with my new awareness and my new attraction, I had the intelligence to write it. So I'm working on the school right now. But there are 790 videos up there from the past 9 years of my work. And of course, there's odysseeofascension.com, and you can get a hold of me there.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Roxy. The links to Roxy's information will be in the description of this video, and go over there and check her stuff out. She's been doing this for a really, really long time.
Long time.
And I appreciate her a lot, and I appreciate her coming on and sharing her wisdom and knowledge with us. Go over there and subscribe to her channel. For everyone else, thanks for watching and listening. Much love to everyone in the chat. Please be sure to hit the thumbs up button, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon as well for notifications. The link to my channel on Odysee is in the description. Hit the follow button over there as a backup. You can catch this episode and any of my other episodes on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, and you can download them individually on Spreaker.com directly to your device for free. Links are in the description. And remember, we're not only in a spiritual war, but a war on humanity. Stay aware, stay alert, keep love in your heart for everyone. Stay safe out there. And if you can see through the illusion, you are the solution. See you guys next time.
Thanks all. Love you.